All right, we're gonna try and do this quickly and efficiently. Hello, and welcome to the Once Upon a Corgi Podcast. We are a Crafty Puppy podcast coming to you from Southern Connecticut. This is episode 66, and I am your host, Gabby, as always, and you can find me everywhere online as Gabagales and all my hand-dyed yarn and fiber at Once Upon a Corgi and onceuponacorgi.com. All show notes and most show notes for previous episodes can be found in our Ravelry group, Once Upon a Corgi Podcast, under the groups tab on Ravelry. And thank you so much for joining us today, new viewers and returning viewers. Thank you for checking us out, and thank you for sticking with us. We've got Audrey and Iron puttering around behind us today, so if you hear any bone crunching or pitter-patter, that is them. And Jax is sleeping on the bed. So if you just hear random screeches, that's him yelling, because that's what he does. Aaron's like half in the closet staring at me like a weirdo. We have some administrative stuff to get into before we get into the crafting. First off, we have some giveaways to pull prizes for, which I have done so while making show notes this morning. So I'm going to post pictures here of the prizes and the winners. So if you have won, please get in touch with me on Ravelry and I will get in touch with the designer to send you those patterns. So, ba-bam! Our second thing is sort of shop related, but I just wanted to say a gigundo thank you to everybody who has made it to the first shop update on our brand new website. Sort of brand new. We have left Etsy and we are now selling on our own platform. And I just want to say a giant thank you to everybody who has gone over and either made an account or made an account and a purchase. It just really, it means so much knowing that going out on my own kind of like this is still going to prove successful. So thank you so much. So far, so good. We had to do a couple changes on the website for the postage stuff. The system I'm using doesn't do first class mail, so we had to do some manual inserts of postage things. So that was a thing. And what else did we have to do? Oh, trying to figure out how to itemize everything. Right now, for fingering weight, we have it as like you click on warm and cozy and then you decide on your base and your quantity, but we might change it. I don't know. I'm gonna put a poll out on Instagram to see what people think. But thank you so much for everybody who has gone over and purchased something or even just made an account and said hello. So thank you so much for that. I think that's it for administrative stuff. So next is events. We will be at A Stitch in Time in Bethel, Connecticut this Saturday, May 19th from 11 to 3 p.m. for a trunk show with my hand-dyed yarns, Once Upon a Corgi. They have been a very supportive yarn shop in Connecticut with our yarn, and they were the first to give us a trunk show. So I'm super excited to go back. We go back probably twice a year, and it's always a blast when we do. So we will be there 11 to 3 this Saturday. Yeah, The event after that is SSK in Nashville, Tennessee, so we will be laying low during June. Just kidding, we're going on a yarn crawl in June, but we won't be vending anywhere in June. You can't close the closet door because you're mad at something. You're a puppy, you don't get to slam doors. Oh, and she's trampled everything. There you go. Into the crafting bit, I will start off with what am I wearing for Mead May this month. I have totally fallen off the bandwagon for that. I'm wearing my Wendy pullover in Hedgehog Fibers Pollen colorway and a Madeline Tosh mini, but I don't remember the colorway name. I'm also wearing, I don't know if I can show you, I don't know. I'm wearing my zinnia skirt, which is a pleated above the knee length skirt out of a green linen. So that is my Mead May for today. I think I've gone 2 days without wearing at least something handmade as a piece of clothing, not just like socks or a shawl. But one of those days was a super cleaning day, so I was not going to wear anything that I have at the moment. And we've got some big plans coming up for outfits. Let's move into finished objects. I have 2 finished objects. I have now decided I'm just going to lump all my crafting into finished objects and make some progress, because otherwise we're gonna have 5 billion sections. So our first one, let's stick with sewing. I have to crawl out of my spot. Hold on. I should have tried this on Barnaby. This is why I have her. Hold on. Boy Scout. All right, so I have finished a tank top. So this is out of a fabric I've already made a dress out of. It is a very thin cotton material, I am guessing. I'm not 100% sure. I got it at Affordable Fabrics, so a lot of the time they don't have the exact make of the fabric, but it's $2.99 a yard, and I really like the feel of it. So I self-drafted this pattern off of a tank top that I had store-bought. My friend gave it to me because she outgrew it, so. It was a store-bought tank top that was disintegrating at the button band, so instead of trying to fix it or buy a new one, I took it apart and used it as a pattern. So I cut it out and made this. It was a little bit more finicky than I thought it would be, but it was a pretty simple construction. It's 3 pieces. No, just kidding. It's 4 pieces, 2 for the back, 2 for the front, and then there's I flat felled a seam. Oh no, it's just wrinkled because I wore it yesterday. There's a seam down the middle that I flat felled with some top stitching. What's up? So you can't really see it because it is black thread, but I did some not French seams, top stitching for the back seam. The side seams are French seams, so everything is encased. Did a large facing, why is this wet? Oh, it had a tennis ball on it. Just a large facing to enclose the seams on the bottom. I did handmade bias tape for, just kidding, I didn't do that. Oh, I did that wrong. She has no feet to step out of this. Okay, so for the armholes, I did some top stitching and then I just pinked the ends. And for the neckline, I sewed down bias taping by machine to attach, and then I hand whip stitched it into the rest of it. So, because I didn't like I did a top stitching with a handmade bias tape for the neckline, but I did not like the way it looked, so I ripped it all out. I did interface the button bands, and I used the buttons from the original tank top, so everything was reused, and I really enjoyed doing that. And yeah, I think it fits really well. There is a little bit of a weird puckering, but I think that has more to do with I need new bras and less messed up. So that's what I'm telling myself anyway. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it. It is very flowy. There's a lot of positive ease. It's a really nice summery top. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I've already worn it a couple times and it fits very nicely. Can you kind of tell? No, not really. Barnaby fits into it really nicely. So yeah, that it took a couple of days to do, but I'm really glad I took the time to take things out and redo them properly instead of just sort of rushing to get it done. I'm trying to definitely be more mindful about my makes. Now that Mead May May is happening, I'm looking at what I'm wearing in my handmade wardrobe, why I'm not wearing my other pieces, and like what I'm really doing this for kind of thing, instead of just like, oh, I like this, I'm gonna make it. Being more conscious with myself about why I'm making my own clothing and what's driving me to do this. So that's been super enlightening, and it's been nice to just sort of sit down and slow down and do the hand stitching, even if it's just for the neckline or the button band or something. So that is my finished sewing object for this week. Our next finished object is Handspun. So I did some spinning this week. As I mentioned in the last episode, I tried spinning the rest of the bat and angora and it just did not work. So I dug out some Into the World fiber from Rhinebeck a couple years ago, and it is finished. I'm so happy with it. So this is the colorway Captain Tight Pants on their Polworth silk fiber braid. I did a chain ply and I got 225 yards, so it's between a sport and a DK weight. I did not do a wraps per inch after I washed it, so that yardage is pre-washing. I'm going to try and do this without blowing everything out. It is more jewel toned. Actually, no, it's pretty true. So here we are. I'm super pleased with it. This is probably my most consistent skein to date. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I love the colors, and it was such a relaxing spin. It was everything I needed. So there we go. I would say it's pretty balanced. Hanging on its own, it's not doing anything, so that's a good sign, right? There we go. I love it so much. I'm so happy with it. It's definitely reinvigorated my love for spinning, and I've got Edgar, my wheel, out in the living room now, so he's staring at me tauntingly. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but I really love it, and I think he's just gonna sit in my stash for a little bit and just be beautiful until I know what to do with him. And I am using my, do I have the things here? Mother of all tags, and they're waterproof tags for Handspun, or really whatever you want. So you write on it with Sharpie, and then you can attach it before you wash it and leave it there in case you do a big batch of Handspun washing. I think Amber from the Yarn Hoarder podcast sent that over in a care package. And I love them so much. I love it. I've just been carrying the skein around with me as I go about my day for the past couple days. I really want it to be something, but I want it to be something special, but I also just want it to be something, so I stopped doing that and then not knitting anything, as you can see. Can you tell the levels of the stash have not changed? I think more have been added to it. It's not the goal. The goal is to work with the yarn. That's why we bought it. I'm just gonna stick him right in here. So those are my finished objects. Let us move on to what we're working on. Sewing wise, I do have another project going on. I am making the Ariel. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm guessing that's how you say it, seeing as how it's 2/3 of the letters in my own name. So I am making the Ariel skirt. I am doing the mini version because I love the tulip skirt from Sew Over It. I thought, why not just do a pencil skirt? Same length. And I am using more affordable fabrics, and I believe this is a brocade, but I'm not sure. It is this black floral, super blown out. All the detail. I'm using that fabric for the outside, and I bought buttons for a shirt. That I'm no longer putting buttons on that shirt, so I'm going to use those. Do I have them handy? I do. I'm going to use these buttons. Oop, camera's over here. These guys. And I'm just using a cream non-static lining. I am lining it. I'm not putting pockets in it because it is a more fitted pencil skirt. I'm not sure if it lends itself that well to doing pockets. With lining, I think the first one I'll just do pocketless and deal with it. I am working on that. I worked on this a little bit Monday. I'm about to attach the lining, so I think another good sewing night and I should be done, or close to putting the button holes in. I'm hoping to get this done Well, I can't do it for Friday. I was gonna try and, maybe I will try and finish it for Friday. We'll see how much work I get done tomorrow. Maybe I'll take an afternoon off. Huh. I would like to wear this for Friday with this and this we are going to a birthday party on Friday because Jake and all of his friends, as you do when your friends are in the same age range, are all turning 30 this year, so we're having a large party for all of them on Friday. I would like to wear something nice. This is the second Tilly and the Buttons pattern I have made, and I love it. I love their directions. Everything is very step-by-step, walk you through it with pictures, so if you were a beginner at sewing, I would highly recommend any of Tilly's patterns. Or a lot of, like, any of the indie patterns, a lot of them, if they don't have step-by-step pictures inside the directions, they have a blog post on it. I had a couple people ask me on Facebook who don't watch this where to start for sewing their own patterns. So if you're thinking about doing that, I would highly recommend it. Okay, is that it for sewing, pups? I think that's it for sewing. We also want to print out a pattern for another dress, but one thing at a time. Thought I had a sneeze coming. I am drinking out of a mug that my friend got me, Wallet Stitches West, but it's got a bad word in it, so I'm gonna cover the bad word because I know some people watch with their children and show you. So she got me this. I love it so much. It's just been my go-to mug. It's sort of my I'm having a bad day, but also I'm on top of the world mug. These have been getting a lot of love. These are the After the Rain socks. I showed you the finished one last podcast, and here we are on the left foot. So we just finished the heel today, and this is a pattern by Becky Sorensen from Soprano Knits and Stringing It Together podcast, doing a collaboration with Hannah from the Corner of Craft and the Crafty Chat podcast. So I have dyed the yarn, Becky has designed the sock, and the adorable beaded umbrella stitch markers, progress keepers, are coming in the mail tomorrow. I'm gonna try and put a picture up here. If not, just check all the Instagrams, because the second they come in, I'm just gonna make it rain tiny umbrellas into the kits. So I am finishing up this sock. I'm hoping to get it done before Saturday. I will explain the kits in more detail in the shop update section, but it will be the yarn, the pattern, and the progress keeper, much like the Volca sock kits. And they will go live in my shop, onceuponacorgi.com, on Saturday at 10 a.m. Iron just cornered the ball and now he's growling at it. It's a ball, bud. It's not gonna fight back. That was super quick. I don't know why I put these away. Yeah, I'm very excited about them, and I want to make sure I get all the information out without glossing over anything. So I am knitting these on my US 1 Addy Turbo Flexi Flexi Flips. The heels, toes, and cuffs are in Puppy Paws, and the green is Fiddleheads. It is on my Marie Cutie base, which is Superwash Corriedale and nylon. And I am thoroughly enjoying this knit. These are super quick socks. I did, again, the leg in almost a full afternoon. Another afternoon to just do the cuff and the leaf things, but I was distracted while I was doing that. And then I did the heel yesterday. So the foot's gonna take me another day maybe. And that's with knitting other things. This is just very easy to pick up, go, do a couple lace repeats. I just love it so much. I'm loving this chartreusey color. And this colorway, I may release just the colorways towards the end of the summer. And if I don't, if we go too far into fall, I will release it as full skeins next year, just to keep the kit as is. And this has been living in my Erin Lane clear bag that I got at Stitches Midwest. Our next make in progress is the Spring into Summer Shawl by Mina Phillip, who is the Knitting Expat. I am knitting this out of some Handspun, so it's a very Handspun heavy episode, even though it's only 2 things. And here we are, look how big it's gotten. I thought I was gonna have to stop early, but now I'm in love. I just can't stop. I want to keep going. So I am knitting this out of my Handspun. It is about a DK to a worsted weight, so I just went up a needle. I think I went up 2 needle sizes. She did hers in a fingering weight. It is Fat Cat Knits Mini Bumps. It was a merino and silk blend, and the gradient is a loop bump that I got at Rhinebeck in the platinum print colorway, and it is 100% superwash merino, and we are in the lace section. I am using the pattern more as a recipe guide. Yeah, more of a recipe guide, so I'm not doing the exact rows or stitch counts because this is a heavier weight shawl at this point. So I'm going to do this lace section, which I'm really liking in this gradient set. I thought I wouldn't, but I do. Going to do this lace section until I run out, and then stop and do garter and bind off in the last black section. So I have wound it off so I know when to stop, and then I will repeat the textured section in the leftovers of the minis. And I'm probably gonna get 1, maybe 3 of these textured bobble bits out of each cake, maybe. Probably just 1. There's about 15 grams of each one, so we will see. But I think it's gonna be beautiful no matter what, and this is going to be a gift to my... Was I showing you the wrong? I was showing you the wrong side the whole time. No, I wasn't. Better than that. This is going to be a gift for a former teacher / mentor from my college. Ta-da! Who got me into handmade photography and my love for platinum and palladium printing. So it's only fitting that she gets a platinum print shawl. I love it so much. I'm so excited to send it off to her when it's done. She also got me into wearing large shawl wraps in college, and at one point, I'm gonna see if I can find the picture. We accidentally wore the same outfit on the same day of like a blue print dress, black leggings, black flats or sandals, and a black cardigan. So, you know, we're just soulmates on the inside. I love that so much. And that is forcibly living in my Mrs. Brown's bag. Does not fit, but I'm making it. It's more of a yarn bucket at this point. And yeah, I wasn't loving it for a second, and then something snapped, and now I'm really enjoying the knit, and I want to work on it all the time. I don't know if it's just me wanting to finish it, or I thought I had a bobby pin, but it's just a crack in my screen. Just sort of my renewed love for my own handspun that's kicking in, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm proud. I've been working on it every night before bed while I watch Downton Abbey, so that's what I'm gonna do after I edit and post this. This new make is a new cast on. Well, duh, it's a new make. This next make is a new cast on, and this is the Electric Love shawl. There it is. Ta-da! Boo-boo-doo! So I have shown you the shawl in person, and I had kits for it at Connecticut Sheep and Wool. I'm trying to find a safe spot to put this. And I've cast mine on! Ooh, thanks, Audrey. She designed it in my hand-dyed yarn, Once Upon a Corgi, on the Tesla base, which is our BFL silk cashmere, using the colorways Blood Moon and Like My Cold Dead Heart. And here I am. It is a bias knit. Bias? Is that the word? It's knit on the bias. There we go. That's what it's called. It's got brioche and lace, and just chugging along this 2-color brioche. I love brioche. I've missed it terribly. So yeah, we just, put a couple repeats in every so often. Jake and I have been rewatching the Avengers in chronological order, so this has been part of the knitting for it, and then when I get too tired, I put it down so I don't mess up and have to tank back in brioche, because no one wants to do that. It is on size 6 needles, and it uses 2 colors, or 2 skeins of Blood Moon and 1 skein of Like My Cold Dead Heart, or what you could do is 2 colors for the brioche and then a 3rd color for the lace section. If if you want. I do have pre-orders for these kits up in the shop, and I'm going to dye a couple up for the trunk show on Saturday, so then I will have some more ready to ship in the shop. And if you want suggestions, feel free to message me via email. Email message me. Is that weird? That was weird. Not much else to say about it. It's still in the wee BB stages, but it's in my 100 Ravens bag. And I've got the third skein right there, ready to go. I feel like once I get the spring into summer shawl off the needles, we'll be able to focus more on this bad boy. I'm in no rush to finish it, as she has graciously allowed me to adopt the sample that she knit for any shows coming up, because she is a lovely person. All right, last makes, sort of. This is a I don't know what to do with you thing. My friend Lauren and I cast on the Michelada pullover. It is from a Pom Pom. I'm gonna put it up which one it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm off on my stitch count. So I have been working on it. It is here. I've cast on for the sleeve bits. That is a drop stitch down there. And I'm off by like 4 or 5 stitches. So not enough to just sort of wing it at this point, because now I have to start not shoulder shaping, cuff shaping, I think is what they called it. Everything seems to be a little bit off no matter what I do. So I am considering frogging this and starting over. Or just taking the needles out of this and starting the front, because this is the back bit, and seeing if I have better luck with that. I don't know. I feel like I've been questioning myself throughout this whole project whether I should knit it taller. Should I go up a size? I'm not really sure what to do. My gauge is pretty close to the patterns, but the model's only 5'3" and I'm 5'8". And we're knitting the same size. Does that mean, you know, my torso could be twice the length of hers? Because that's usually what happens, because I have the torso of a giraffe neck. So I'm not really sure. I have been questioning it. See if I can, and I'm gonna accidentally pull it off the needles here. This should be like this. And if that's the case, then this is a fine length, because I do want this not cropped, but at my natural waist. Or it goes like this, in which case it could be long enough if I blocked it. I think it might be. I think it's gonna be okay now that I'm seeing it. But I'm still off a lot. And I don't know if I want to keep going if I'm questioning myself the whole time, kind of thing. Like, I don't know if I like it now. I don't know if I'm gonna like it in, 30 more rows of knitting it. But I do really want this top, and I want it in this color. And I think, ooh, I'm sitting in my project bag. I'm pretty sure I have enough yarn left over that I should be really safe to finish the whole sweater with just the 2 skeins. I think we're gonna be okay. My batter's gonna die. So I'm not sure what to do. What would you do? Would you put this on hold and start the front and see if you can kind of work that out? Should I just start over? I've tried picking up from under the armholes to figure out if I'm off there, but I can't. It's very hard to do it in the linen stitch, and if I just frog it out and then try and pick it up, I'm gonna be dropping stitches, and it's 2 different needles, and oh god, I don't know, but I really want this. I don't know what to do. I have considered just I don't want to put this on hold and then never pick it up again. That's also my fear, is if I try and knit another sweater in the meantime, I'm going to forget about this. And I don't want to do that. I want this finish. So what do you think? What should I do? Help. Help me. It's just been sitting next to my bed while I ponder it, because I really like it. And we've already noticed that our ribbing, it doesn't look off in the camera, but it's like they switch. So the knit stitches don't match up all the way. it's on every other one. I don't know if that's on purpose or what. I don't know. I'm just questioning myself the whole time. Maybe I should just rip it out, soak the yarn, and start over. Just start fresh. Maybe that's what I need. A fresh start. But I also have another conundrum, which I will get into later in the podcast. Our last make thing, which I totally forgot about, is I do have some finished objects because why is Alexa playing country music? And this is Jake. He's got the app on his phone. My house is haunted. Jake's computer did the same thing this morning. I get out of the shower and it's playing 3 different YouTube videos and Pandora at the same time. My house is haunted. As I was saying, I made face wipe thingies. Ta-da! Yeah, I found some recipes on Pinterest for crocheted makeup remover wipe thing, so I don't have to buy the cotton swabs or anything like that. So I've made 5. These are my 2 cleanish ones. One's got hair dye and one's got lipstick on it already. And I just used some Joann's Sugar and Cream cotton worsted weight, and I used a size G crochet hook. I do know how to crochet. I don't do a lot. I basically just do blankets and hats and stuff. But I was kind of feeling the need. I'm going to do a couple more sets. I want to try some other patterns. This was just a simple, it's mostly double crochet and a half double crochet stitch into a little hexagon. And I'm really enjoying them. You know, as much as you can enjoy a small rectangle thing that's gonna clean your face, you know. Yeah, it was a nice relaxing night. I whipped out 5 of them in like an hour and a half, and I think next week we might do some more. I might just do a couple different sets and have them set aside as gifts, because I feel like that'd be a really nice gift thing, because people wash their face, right? I will try and find the links to the Pinterest page that I got the hexagon one from. And that is it for what I've been making. So if you are not here for anything except the crafty stuff, thank you so much for watching. And our next sections will be shop update and life things. So let us get into that. So this is shop update. Shop updates happen every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at onceuponacorgi.com. We have a couple shop announcement-y things. First off, we do have the kits coming out this week that will go up on Saturday, May 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We wanted that to be a very fair time for international and domestic people to shop for it because it is coming out of the US. So we thought that might be the easiest time frame all around. It is a little bit early for the West Coast people, but we didn't want anybody to be too in the middle of the nighty. So that's that, and you get the full skein of Fiddlehead's contrast mini skein of Puppy Paws, the pattern, which we are still figuring out how to get to you, whether it's through Ravelry or we email you a code or something. We'll figure that out. Whatever, if you need to do anything for it, whether it's give us your Ravelry name or something, I will put that in the description box for the kits, and you get the progress keeper. So that will be shipping from Connecticut the Monday after the update. And if we sell out, which we did for the Volca kits, which was super exciting, and you know, fingers crossed we do, I'm sure we will figure something out for pre-orders for a second round of kits. So that is the After the Rain sock kits, May 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything else will be tomorrow, Thursday, May 17th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are introducing a new base because I couldn't help myself. And I got on the mohair bandwagon. It's such a soft bandwagon to be on. Can you blame me? So we are introducing the Fig Lace, and it is 70% kid mohair, 30% silk. It is a lace weight, 50 grams, 460 yards, 459.7. So, and here it is. I've not knit with it yet, but I 100% plan on casting something on. So this is my conundrum. I want to cast something on now instead of working on the other stuff. But that's neither here nor there. So we got a couple skeins to test out different dye techniques. So we will have 10 skeins going up, and the colorways are Nose Stuck in a Book, Libraries Volume 1, My Sun and Stars, Something Sinister, Like My Cold Dead Heart. This is sort of a test skein. I'm going to see if I can get it a little bit darker. It is pretty true on screen right now. It is very pink. So Like My Cold Dead Heart, test 1, really. Oswald for Mayor, which I really like how this turned out. Mermaids Don't Run Track. Hedwig. 2 new colorways going into the shop, so we did dye them on the mohair. The first one is Fairy Saddle. The second one is Lady of Shalott. So that is 10 mohair skeins going up. They're going to go in a lace weight section on the shop. Right now everything is divided into weights, so we have fingering, DK, and Aran weight, so they will have their own shop section. And if you guys really like these, let me know, and I will order more to dye more, and just let me know what colors you would like to see on them. I know No Stuck in a Book is usually just a tweed, but I figure since you can hold these double with fingering weight, these would be perfect to match with the tweedies when they come back in. So if you want to see any of the tweed line on it, just let me know. Let me know what you want to see. Let me grant you your yarny wishes. Alright, so I'm going to try and throw these on the bed without dropping them all on the floor. Also, going into the update, and these will be across the bases Ginger, which is our Stellina base, Oliver, our single ply base, Penny and Merino Cashmere Nylon, Audrey, 100% Superwash BFL, and Tesla, which is a BFL Silk and Cashmere blend. So we will be having Libraries Volume 1. These are showing up super light. Sorry, the band's probably blowing them out. So Libraries Volume 1. And that's it for the rest of these are new colorways. We've just been having fun with the dye pots. After Connecticut Sheep and Wool, I just wanted to experiment. So our first new colorway is Fairy Saddle. So this is a warm orange copper, semi-solid, and the term Fairy Saddle is Audrey is a very close to a true redhead corgi, so she has a dark copper color mostly on her ears, and right behind the front shoulders of a corgi. Let me show you. Okay, so right here, this line, this is called the Fairy Saddle. I know this is super uncomfortable. And she's got, you know, a little patch of that dark copper. So the corgis lore of their beginning in Wales, they are a Welsh breed, is that they were the steeds to the fairies. So the Fairy Saddle bit is where the fairies would have their saddles. And that is why that little band is called that. Right? Are you a fairy steed? That's where that name came from. And I've been trying to get that copper color for many moons. Okay, you can go down. Like to licking the penguin, weirdo. She's so mad. So yeah. And I'm super pleased. I've been trying to get a color like this for a long time. I love it, and I'm so excited that I finally figured it out. So we will have that. And we will also have a couple wild skeins, which are skeins that will crazy in the dye pots, or one-of-a-kind skeins. We will have 2 of them on Oliver, because, not this one. Yeah, they just went a little too light in the light section, so we will have 2 regular and 2 wild skeins. We will also have 2 wild test skeins on Audrey. This is a little bit more orange, still beautiful, just not the coppery color I was going for. So we have 2 of those. We'll also have 2 wild skeins of the beginning testing, which is very different. So we have 2 of these on Oliver. I'm sorry if this is confusing. So that is Fairy Saddle and all of the test skeins going along with it. The next new colorway is, I like to find it, hold on, Lady of Shalott. This is a 1860s painting that I saw in the Wadsworth Museum in Hartford, Connecticut. It is one of those paintings. It's a painting. It's a story of the Lady of Shalott who, something happened, and I don't remember the whole story, but she ended up making a deal where if she stayed in this tower and wove a tapestry, she could be safe, and as long as she promised not to look outside the window. And it's just this gorgeous painting, so I have dyed up this to go with it. I love it. I really love that painting. I am considering doing a yarn club of, I want to call them painted ladies, but that sounds like a word for prostitutes, but ladies in paintings from the like Victorian Edwardian era, because I really love that style. We will see. So there she is. I really love it. It's very spring, summery, also a little bit like wildflowery, but it's just so much jewel tones of bright oranges and teals and pinks, and I'm super happy with it. To go along with this, we will have 2 wild skeins on ginger of the first go round. This is much more speckly than the end result, but I do love them so much still. So we will have 2 skeins of those. And we'll also have another new colorway. This is, what did I call it? Owls are a must. So here we go. Ta-da! This is on the Audrey base. It will be, there are no test skeins of this one. This may get tweaked in the future. I haven't decided yet. By tweaked, I mean I may just add a little bit of green to it. But these are, it's coming out a lot brighter on screen. It's definitely a little bit moodier in person, and this is our first run of colors inspired by the wedding venue that we picked out. So yeah, the name Owls Are a Must come from, it is filled with fake and or taxidermied owls in the bridal suite, which I think is fantastic and right up the theme that we're looking at. So it is inspired by this. It's lots of dark woods and stained glasses and exposed beams, and a lot of the building itself is restored and kind of saved New England historical bits. Like there's, the railings are from an opera house in Rhode Island, the windows are from Yale, the building itself used to be an 1860s barn, and a lot of the materials going into the building are all reclaimed and repurposed. So I love it. And it's just very dark and moody, which is really what we're going for. So there we go. Owls are a must. I do not have a mohair to go with that one. Yeah, so that's all gonna be in the shop tomorrow, and then the kits will be going into the shop on Saturday. I hope that wasn't too many tangents just to explain my colors. I've just had a lot of fun, and I got very inspired to play in the dye pots. I feel like I haven't given myself that chance. I ordered a lot of new dye colorways, so I'm excited for those to come in. And it was just a very nice week of kind of exploring. I felt very stuck in what I was working on dyeing wise. So this week I just sort of gave myself permission to have fun and do it, just go for it. And I'm really glad with what happened. As you can see, it, you know, there's some steps to kind of figuring out your colors until you get to the end result. Oh, that would be really pretty. Very autumnal. I think I'm gonna give myself kind of that permission to do this for a couple more weeks and kind of play with it, and then really hunker down for SSK. Getting ready for shows, it's a lot of making sure you know, like making sure you have a lot of the stuff that people like, instead of like, oh, here's all new stuff that you weren't prepared for at the show. It's been a lot of fun. Sorry, Barnaby, I just grazed your boo. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I really hope you guys can make the shop update. I'm very excited about these new colorways, and I'm already dreaming of things to knit up with them. I really want to make a Mount Pleasant or Tegnatop out of this, held double with one of the mohair blends. I haven't decided what base. I kind of want to do the BFL. That's it for shop update stuff. Again, thank you so much to everybody who has come to the website and checked it out. And if there's anything you want to see differently, constructive criticism, ideas, anything, just send me an email at onceuponacorgi@gmail.com, and I would love to know what you guys think of everything. The last bit of this is life stuff. This is a little bit longer of an episode because I'm hyped up on coffee. It's 9 o'clock at night, and that's what you get. Things. So yes, we booked the venue for our wedding. I know I haven't been talking about it a lot here. I've been trying to keep it on the DL. This is not a wedding podcast. The wedding is not my life. It is just a fact that is going to happen in my life. So I'm trying not to let it take over this because not everyone wants to hear about it, and I totally understand. I don't want to hear about it sometimes. We booked the venue. Things are starting to move along on that. We are pushing it back until 2020 instead of the original 2019, just to kind of save up and give ourselves a big buffer in case we want to make any other big moves, like start looking at houses or have to move out of this apartment or anything really. Weddings are very expensive, and we both have very large families. It's going to be a big wedding no matter what we do. And weddings cost a lot of money nowadays, so we would just like to give ourselves that safety net of time, which makes sense. I don't need to explain this to you. No one is questioning why we're doing this. You know, it's time to stop podcasting. Your phone keeps kicking you off. We have the venue, we have the date, we are figuring out the dress and all of that, trying to get all the really big stuff out of the way early on, so we have a year to kind of slowly gather everything else. I am not making my dress. I'm going to buy it. I had a very long talk with myself and a lot of friends and myself, and sort of struggled not struggled coming to the decision, but sort of struggled with myself on letting myself buy instead of make the wedding dress. It was a bigger dilemma than I thought it was going to be, but we came to that decision and we figured it's the smarter choice to do it. So it's only one day, and that's fine. The day is not even about the dress. The day is actually about us. So you know what? That's that. So yeah, this is not a wedding thing. We're rambling. The biggest thing that we did recently was we drove up to New Hampshire to meet up with a lovely woman from the SCA that I do about once a month now, because she has Shetland sheep, and she had not one, but 2 fleeces to send me home with. I'm not about to pull a fleece out, I promise. I do have one sitting right there in the bin. It is going to be sent off to the Twist of Fate Spinnery in Portland, Connecticut. It is a 4.6 pound Shetland fleece, and it looks like it's in really good condition. This is her first fleece from the sheep. I don't remember how old the sheep is. Not that old. His name is Alex. I'm going to get that sent off and milled, but she also had a 2.2 pound fleece that was a little bit felted and not great, but it was this sheep's first fleece with her, and it is a very young sheep, so that's kind of what happened with that. Also, it got super hot in April, but instead of shearing them and risking them getting too cold because of New England, the heat and the humidity and the sheep being a sheep felted the wool naturally. So we probably have about 1.5 pounds of wool that we skirted the fleece. Adrian helped me scour and wash it, and I'm slowly combing through it. This is Julie. She's still got a lot of veg matter, lots of veg matter. I feel like I should have washed this a couple more times, but I didn't. And here is part of her fleece. It is a light gray, peppered. You can see the debris falling out of her right now. You can also see the debris in her. So I'm right now combing out all of the fiber and the locks, and I'm going to run all of this through Adrian's drum carder. So it's been a very informative fleece. I feel like it was the perfect one to learn on. And here's I got a little baggie because I brought it to my knit group. So we used Unicorn Wash, Power Scour, and Dawn dish soap to wash it, and we washed it at my parents' house because they have a large backyard and lots of bins to do this, and I live in an apartment building. And so there she is. Alex is a little bit of a darker fleece, and my goal is to do a sweater spin as soon as I get him processed. I'm hoping to either send it out so I can pick up the fleece from the spinnery, from the mill at Rhinebeck or at Connecticut Sheep and Wool. They have a booth in both where you can go and drop off your fleece or pick up your fleece depending on the situation. So it's just a matter of finances to see and their time schedule. I know it takes them a couple months to go through everything. So yeah, it was a really nice drive. It was only like 2.5 hours, and I went to school in New Hampshire, so a 3-hour drive was just really going back to school. Kind of felt like I was going back to school. She was a lovely woman. She was very informative about her animals and the fleeces themselves, and it was super nice to go cuddle some sheepies and a goat named Henry for a couple hours up there and have sort of like a learning fleece. I'm hoping to get more from her in the future. She has these Shetland sheep as farm pets, so not like house pets, but she has them because she loves sheep. She's not selling the fleeces for profit or anything, and Shetland are too small to be meat lambs, so it's just really nice to meet somebody who also loves sheep. And she doesn't spin, so she's just sort of like, I don't know what to do with these. I'm like, I'm here, I'll take them. For Mother's Day, I went up to go see Mama Gergs and washed some sheepy bits in her bathtub. Happy Mother's Day, Mom! Now you have sheep dirt everywhere. I cleaned up their shower afterwards. I think that's it. I'm gonna go before my phone dies and tells me to stop recording like a crazy person. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting the podcast and the shop, and following me on this fibery adventures. I think that's it. We will see you again next week. And until then, happy crafting. Bye.